All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Make sure everything's up and running. Perfect. Hello and welcome. I am Stephen Van Keulen, part of the Fancy Lizard team, and here today we are going to be streaming for WatchMeWork.com. Fantastic site. Feel free to go over there, check them out, and see all the cool little tutorial videos and some of the other nifty little projects people are working on. All right, so today we're just going to make just a little simple little mini game using both Blender and Unity features. So yeah, in Blender, we're going to work on creating like a little environmental world, and then once created, we're going to we're going to make a little racetrack, and then from there, we're going to throw into Unity and using some of the prefabs that Unity has already designed, we're going to use a race car, and from there, we're going to have a little bit of fun with it. This is going to probably be a 2, maybe 3 parts tutorial video, and later on we'll get some more of the detail and programming. And yeah, we will begin. So right now I just have Blender currently opened up, and I'm just going to delete everything because we don't need that. So what I'm going to need is go into the mesh folder, and we're going to get landscape. If you don't have this down there, what you do is just go over File, and go down User Preferences, and go on Add-ons, and quick way to get to is either just type in Ant or Landscape Art, and then just make sure that's nice and checkmarked. So what we're going to do is throw in landscape, and it's kind of small, so what we're going to do is broaden this out, and we're going to make this mesh a lot bigger. Nice. And then we're just going to play around with numbers to make it actually look like a better landscape. And also we're going to bump this up from a 128 to about 256. It's kind of double what that is. Adding more topology from the subdivisions here. And what we're going to do to make this a little bit more entertaining than just a basic flat racing game, we're going to spherify it. So now we kind of have this like weird little planetary kind of setup here. And actually I'm going to maybe drop that down so I have a little bit more edge and detail. All right, awesome. So right now I'm just going to kind of play around with some of the features to the landscape add-on or plugin. Now I haven't really memorized what all these kind of do. However, they have some really interesting little features that they kind of create or generate. Definitely feel free to follow along either during this live stream or during whenever your own time, and just kind of play around with some of the ideas of it. And I'm thinking this mesh might be a little too large to begin with. There's it. Now you'll of course hear me kind of mumble to myself a little bit. Yeah, kind of looks like a oddly developed golf ball. Or that if you take like an orange and try to peel off a little bit of the outer skin, kind of gets all these little clumps. Or dug out of it. Well, let's see if we can kind of make it a little off-centered. Not that much though. And let's see. Let's try that negative 0.25. Kind of makes it look a little bit more alienish. Eventually, we're going to try and imagine like a little bunch of race cars kind of driving around these on the track. Should be fun. Later on, we'll eventually get into the gravity and all that, but next time. Anyway, oop, let's go point. Maybe drop that down to negative. Like these, yeah, canyons a little bit deeper. Maybe throw in like some little water, maybe even lava kind of textures in there underneath them. Make it a little more interesting. All right. Let's just go with type 3. Kind of make it a little bit layered out. There we go. Just going to turn off smooth here so we can actually see a little more of like where the detailing kind of takes in. All right. And just for kicks, let's just check out what the cell noise looks like on this one. Very, very blocky. Yeah, that can be an interesting stage later on. All right. Same with this guy. All right. So let's just go back to Blender. And oh yeah, cycle render for later on when we eventually texture this. May that be in this tutorial video or the following one. And just kind of bump up that height a little bit. Just work with that for right now. All right. Kind of a little bit more of a flatter plane kind of setup. Okay, so now the thing with the landscape add-on feature, as long as you have it selected, this menu where you can edit it will still be there. But the moment as soon as you click off of it or deselect, you can no longer get that menu back. So make sure you kind of have it all set up and looking pretty and however you like it. All right, so now we're just going to enlarge this one. That looks kind of cool. And we're going to come on inside. All right. So just make it simple. We're going to go into our top view, and then we're going to look right on top. We'll right mouse click right on top there, and we are going to add in a plane. Let's see, plane. Kind of bring up a little bit, and let's see. Just gives this, yeah, it's kind of a different texture on there. So this guy, give it its own texture. And let's try and make it, yeah, just a little darker. Actually kind of like that. Force base. Select this guy's material. And let's just kind of give that little hint of blue there. All right, so from here on, just going to be, let's see, recenter ourselves. Just kind of randomizing our track here for a little feature or a little design work we're going to elaborate on a little later. First, okay, let's just kind of set up our starting point here, just kind of on this little edge points. And then we're going to have to kind of track go out from there, another one there. And let's get cracking at it. Oh, another important thing to kind of keep in mind. Yeah, for a directional path for it. Let's see. Yeah, right now it's default to global. What you want to do is change it to your view. And then that way, no matter which way you're looking at it, it will go in that direction. So when you hit the G key, it will go in that kind of, playing whichever way you look at it. This will be helpful because we're going to be revolving around a sphere, kind of adding track as we go. And it just makes it a lot easier to essentially do this in a second. So just here, add that in, do that thing. And I'm just going to click and drag it out, all the while revolving my camera around like where the general center point of this ginormous mesh is. And yeah, oops, that little cursor spot. But yeah, want to make sure you're kind of like keeping like a general revolving around the objects, so that way you're not kind of diving into it. Or another thing you can do is make sure your platform here is kind of raised up just enough, and then later you can go back in and fine detail it. But yeah, for this one, I'll keep it kind of low. All right, so yeah, taking it, just using hotkey E, move it around, make sure you kind of keep it rotated. It'll make the adding features and textures a little bit easier, especially when you UV map it. And make sure you select the right one, or else it'll look a little awkward later. All right, just kind of looking down, fixing up a little bit. All right, so yeah, with this little planet, as I'm going to call it, this little moon, I'm going to call it a moon, or an asteroid. I'm going to call it a moon. So yeah, it's going to be all rigid and a lot of little crevasses or like gaps within them. So we can essentially kind of pick whichever way we want to have this track go, or just have it split off in multiple points, which is what I plan to do with this one. All right, so we're going to have our track here. Just kind of, oops, yeah. Let's kind of come over here and make sure it's above ground. So it'll kind of look a little weird when we're in the car. And we are going to have it expands out just a bit. Right now, it's not going to look too pretty until a little bit later on when we, fix it up a little bit. I gotta get the base down before we can make it look pretty. For these gaps, you can either have the track kind of go all the way over, or you can just have it kind of like slide under it. And for this one, I'm going to have it go over. Yeah, kind of simple there. Just kind of take these side pieces and kind of raise them up a little higher. That way, as the car's kind of going down the track, it'll just kind of, follow over it like a nice little, nice little hill. As you'll definitely notice, a lot of parts of my track will end up having a lot more wider parts of the road versus a lot more thinner ones or little choke points. Um, as you play like in a lot of other racing games, there's going to be moments where you just can't get around someone, or just going to be based off the speed kind of game where you have to maneuver around them or get around them. Versus other areas where you're going to be going around more of a trickier corner or like obstacles in the way, and then like a wider plane is a little bit better to go with. So later on, when we add in objects or obstacles for players, it'll provide a little bit more of a options for the gameplay. Just going to jump back up to this one here, take that one, and begin its. And this guy, we're just going to have kind of one down, and that's low. Definitely another little tricky thing. Just try and keep it. I try to get the road consistent or like flat for a driver drive on. Yeah, I'm sure there is probably an easier way of going about this. I'll probably try to figure out where or figure out how to do that a little bit later on, probably for when we go into detailing. I have maybe come over here, have maybe a little sky loop or like a roundabout from there to there to over here. And don't worry, there's a method to this madness. And where are we going? My side. All right. And we're just going to kind of create a little bit of a choke point right there. And oops. All right. As cars kind of go up, we meet somewhere around the middle there. And definitely want to play around that altitude level or that yeah, climb. That seems a little drastic, maybe. I don't know. Visualize it as you go up. Yeah, definitely later on when we add on the gravity to the center of this moon here. Yeah. Fortunately, the camera will be yeah, stabilized based off the car's own rotation, so everything should be just fine. Some of those. It's not going to be the prettiest circle, but we can certainly fix it up later. All right. A little sky path there. And yeah, definitely take some of these guys and actually bring them back up to their other height. And just going to have this guy kind of attached there. Maybe add in like some boosters here or something. Or little accelerators. All right. And then we're just going to kind of reverse it down there. Slowly change my camera angle so that way it's a nice little smooth going there. All right. That's not too bad so far. All right. All right. Just kind of go on from there. And always be sure to save it. I'm just going to find one of the locations here. And let's see. I should do that a little later. All right. So let's just kind of take a moment and maybe create some other little pieces here. So let's just kind of create something. Let's just take this comb, I can pronounce it, throw it in there. Make sure it's oriented the right way. Roughly. And I right clicked off of it, so I can't do that. In mode. Now, we can't worry about topology flow if you want, but I think we're just going to create something, you know, a little random or spontaneous here. It's just going to have like a little spire going out. So I'm going to go in this mode. Hit B, and be able to select all those, planes up there. Deselect that one. All right, cool. And I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit. It's probably more polygons than we want. So you want let's do this. Just complete that one. Reselect down here. Yeah, I should have done this in the first place. Go back to mesh, select our cone, and make sure we're oriented the right way. Cool. And we want to bring up to the height that we wanted, or I wanted. Bring up. And it doesn't have to be perfect. So bring in. And we are going to highlight it. But let's just get into perspective mode. Oh yeah. Like that. Go in. And I forgot the step that I was going to do again. Let's see. Guys, one more time. Third time's charm. Maybe I'll remember. All right, there we go. I just want to reduce that to like 12, so that way we're not using so many polys. And why not? Let's kind of make this a little bit smaller here. Yeah, let's not work like that. Oh, I guess we could kind of do like that, but nah, just do it manually. All right, so yeah, purpose, bring down that vertice count so that way it's a little nicer later on. All right, one more time. Bring this back up, orientate, line up, select it, select that one, extrude it, out and down. All right, there we go. Now we can play with this guy just a little bit easier. All right, and what I'm going to do is select this part, bring it down, and actually bring that up a little bit higher, and bring another one in. So yeah, right now I'm just going to try to create like little braces for our bridge here. Let's see, just want to go in the same direction. Actually, since they're all have different lengths here, do that, and just kind of lower it down in. And again, we'll get into like some of the detailing aspects a little bit later, make sure everything looks a little prettier. All right. Yep. And a little stabilizer. Maybe we can add in some other nifty features a little later. rotate in one of the directions, or we can just leave it. All right, leave it for now. I'd say that. And just because I like to give it a little color, I'll give it kind of like maybe kind of a gold something, kind of like a little gold spire. Colors don't really coordinate with each other all that well, but I'm not going to worry about too much at the moment. Just want to get items in place. Oops. I've accidentally made that crooked earlier. There we go. Better. Okay. So yeah. End goal is definitely going to be getting the road just kind of like randomly mapped out here and kind of them connect in. And go there. And then eventually just have them all come back to here. Make a nice little fun little island hop there. So let's just do this. Kind of take this, bring it back, extrude it out, extrude that way, take this guy, and actually want to select these two, rotate a little bit so they're kind of aiming that way. Select here, create choke points. That way players would have to kind of fight for the front. And we're just going to kind of create these little island hoppers now. Now, of course, you can just add on like pieces, drag, have like a little accelerator or a angle accelerator, so it can go flying over and land on spots. And we may kind of like get rid of some of that track and actually do that a little later. Yeah, for these little island spots, let's see here. Just kind of make that come down a little harder there. A little bit more of a steeper drop to them. Oops, corner down there. Just easy little tweaks. All right, and we're going that direction. So let's kind of rotate this, and I'm going to extrude. Select that one again, and we're going to widen the track a bit. That way, players that are kind of stuck behind the other ones during the choke point will actually have a chance to get around them. Just currently replying back to some comments from the live stream here. And so eventually it kind of leads up, and it's going to be kind of a little bit of a maze setup. And perhaps we can kind of like add a little program for like where checkpoints are going to pop in. For example, when the racer kind of begins, they'll be given a direction where the track is going to be heading. And essentially kind of like follow along that piece of track and eventually we'll meet up at another section. And where eventually brings in for another lap time. And then from there, hopefully we can, set like a little wall kind of comes up. And yeah, the redirection of like the checkpoints and kind of play around with that programming probably during the next stream or next time One Mind streams. All right. Yeah, once we get as track just kind of enclosed, then we'll later throw into Unity and add in the car and all that. So let's just real quick just kind of close these up here. And maybe we can just have this guy kind of, slope down in. Oops, a little too far in. All right. Yeah, choke point a little bit more. All right. Yeah, for now we can work with that. And yeah, during this week or coming week, I'll work on a little more, give a little more detail, a little more, track to it. Maybe fix up a little bit. All right, so real quick, just going to kind of come over here and let's see. Right there, tells. What's that? All right, and let's just kind of create like a little stands area. This little spectator box, very large box here. Are attached. That's what's going on. All right, deselect it. Now we add it in box. Our cube here. Try to get the right address major lane. All right, for this we can switch back to global because this one's going to be a little more flatter or a little bit more uprights rather. Looking back at one of the comments from a Jose Miramontes, he says it would be cool if there was like a space worm that pops up out somewhere like an Easter egg from Star Wars. I totally agree with that. There totally should be like a little alien or something that kind of like pops up. Maybe this can be like a little lava place and like volcanoes kind of going off. Yeah, or maybe even kind of like part of the track spinning as well. So that way it's all not just a ordinary kind of sit still track. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, back to more of the comments asked about the scripting for the gravity. I don't have a script for it yet. Either I'll see if there's already one pre-made within Unity, or if I need to possibly write one. And yeah, so for the gravity aspect, when we put in Uni, it's just going to want to go straight down. So for our car, it may be, well, it'll probably like slide off the little asteroid moon here. But we can certainly play around with it where it's still more level ground until we get the gravity aspects put in. All right. Now break out for a box here, rotate it out, and just go ahead and move here. Yeah, just kind of bring it there. And maybe kind of rotate a little bit. Yeah, it does not have to be too parallel to the back end here, but I'll kind of make it look a little nice. Let's see. Just do that one. And go into orthographic view, so that way possibly be able to get this to rotate a little better. There we go. And essentially just going to kind of follow this. In here, select vertices, and just kind of bring it back a little bit more. All right. All right, looks all right so far. And let's just kind of add in another layering point. And bring it back a little bit. All right. So we're just going to kind of select these guys, and we're going to get rid of them, and then have that be where our bleachers or viewing areas. Rotate that just a little bit. And let's put those, and I believe it was Alt M. Yep. And then we're going to merge those vertices together. So when it comes to texture time, it will be more cooperative. All right. Now, this next part may be a little bit of a cheating way of doing it. But let's see. let's just kind of select this bottom layer here, and we're actually going to detach it. Select it again, give it color, so that way we can visually differentiate it. And let's just kind of give it a little bit of a green. All right. And then we're just going to do and like all these little sections here. And then what we're going to do is select them all. And we're going to get rid of each layer at a time as we extrude it upwards. I can get it. There we go. And then we're just going to do that all the way up. Not so much like a cheater way of doing it, but rather nice, quick, and easy way of doing it. All right, there we go. Look at that. Okay, so we'll reselect on here, and they have like a little announcer booths kind of like coming off the top here. So we'll just kind of do insert and extrude upwards. And why not? Maybe kind of have these kind of like lowering in. And yeah, that should be okay. Oops. Oh, let's try this. Upwards, and we're going to have it go one of these directions. Well, we can do it like that. Kind of select this out, and I'm just gonna have this kind of like come out a little bit. Kind of have it like Overwatch, the entire stadium here. That view here, and let's go off of its maybe not local. Or there we go. Take this, kind of bring it up a little bit. Something that down a little. Would be kind of like a little booth in here. I'm going to also separate this object out. And kind of extruded words. All right. We have our stands. We have kind of like a little main area. And all we would need then would possibly like be little areas for the racetrack to come in. So we're going to go in Tart View real quick and just kind of select down, make sure we're selected around the spot there. Bring in and just probably just add another little cube here. It's a really large cube. So let's just kind of shrink this down. Something for like a car kind of sit on. Of course, these can be futuristic looking if we want. So yeah, a little bit of starting platform there. Yeah, a little flatter. All right. Here. Oh, direction. All right. A little obsessive, but we can play around with it. Okay. All right. So, before we run out of time here, let's take all this and we will put it into Unity. So what we're going to do is File. We're going to Exports as a FBX here, and then we're just going to go to wherever my desktop is. Actually, there's mods folder. All right, and let's just kind of rename this as let's see, Moon Racetrack. All right, and I already have Unity set up and going. Let's see. Yep. Just need to make sure I have the correct file going. So actually close out that and reopen. And we are going to go into plant, the little racetrack. All right. So let's just real quick create a new scene here. And go to assets. All right, so I'm just going to go into desktop here and drop in our FBX here. Racetrack, going through our just our assets folder. Wait for all import. All right, so go over track here, go and bring into our section, and here we are. Zoom on in. Yeah, just not too bad. All right, so what I've done is go under the assets and under the import package, and we're going to want the vehicles and utility. We're getting utility later, but for now we just want that vehicles. So we're going to go in here. Yeah, so assets, standard asset, vehicles, car, and we're going to go under their prefab tab, and where they just have their basic car here, and that's a really big car. And we just might have to scale this up just a bit. All right, make sure we kind of zoom on out here. There we go. That might be a little too excessive there. Let's see, where's the car? Okay. I can get myself orientated here. Going from one program to the other. Okay. All right. Yeah, it looks just fine here. Bring car down, just kind of throw on top of one of our little platforms here. Now let's just throw it right there. All right. So let's just find our main camera and put it to the coordinates for our thing here. What is that? 523. All right, so we're just going to do 5. Oops. That's, and what is that, -60 roughly? All right, cool. Camera in and rotator. Go. Be able to see the Unity license plate on the back there. That's a lot aesthetic to it. All right. Gotta bring this guy up here. All right, looks good. So what we're going to do is take the main camera, drop it down within the car, so that way when we get going, it will take the camera with it. Straighten out just a little bit. It's all right. All right, and let's see how it goes. Oh, before we do though, we have to add in our collider boxes with our track here. All right. Oops. I have a lot of cubes set up. Yeah, and definitely remember to when you're doing all this, make sure you add in names for all their parts here, or else it's just going to look pretty terrible when you bring it in and you hit drop down and nothing's labeled except for 2 other parts. So yeah, definitely select that. Then we're going to want to add in a mesh collider, so that way it's already kind of wrapped around the mesh itself. All right, or the model. All right, so now when we try this again, make sure our car is above the ground. All right. Yeah. Bridge body. All those. Okay, should be all right. Some reason we keep falling. Let's see here. Just make sure they all have their colliders going. Just going with that one. That components. Sure, plane here. Track. It's mesh collider. Yep, that shows our plane. All right. So we should be okay. There we go. All right. That's on our little map here. Little overhead. Everything should be working nice. Yeah, eventually, later on, when we add in the gravity, should be able to make it a little bit smoother. Maybe add in like a little key featuring map, so that way it kind of like continuously rotates with your car as it goes. Woo! All right, so yeah, that has been our Sunday tutorial video as we fall. All right, yeah, that has been our Sunday tutorial video from Blender Unity, making just a nice little simple game aspect, something a little bit more unique. And yeah, next time I'll be streaming with you guys. There will be a little bit, finished track and possibly some other props or assets along the way. And we'll see about that giant worm kind of coming up. All right. Thank you again for watching our Fancy Watch or Fancy Lizard streaming with watchmework.com.